Hello, welcome to Motivational Gems. My name is Sarah. In this channel, we talk about personal finance, mindset, and entrepreneurship. Today, we're going to be talking about 15 ways in which you can take your vacant piece of land and transform it into an income-generating asset. The most common and simple way to make money by using your vacant piece of land is simply holding on to it and waiting for it to appreciate, and then eventually, years down the road, you sell it and you make your money. In this video, we're gonna go over different ways that you can put your land to use while you hold on to it, giving it time to appreciate. Stay tuned. My favorites are tip number 11 and 13. I find them very smart and doable. Tip number 1, tiny house on wheels. If you own a vacant piece of land and you want to hold on to it, giving it time to appreciate in value, in the meantime, you can rent that piece of land to a tiny house on wheels company so that they can showcase their houses and also rent the spaces, small spaces, to families who want to live there. Temporarily, of course, because they're on wheels and these are the type of people who want to change sceneries. Now, if you want to do this yourself, you actually can. You can be the one managing the business, and you can be the one simply renting these spaces, these lots. You divide it in lots and you rent it to families. Of course, you want to get a lawyer who writes up the lease for you so that you can cover all your bases and be very well informed of your rights and responsibilities. But yes, tiny home on wheels. Tip number 2, storage facility. You can create a storage facility. I'm assuming that the piece of land is fenced. You can get these huge containers and divide them in small spaces so that you can offer storage space, which probably would be more affordable than these storage facilities that we have in town. Also, you can build a facility if you choose to do so and you plan to keep it for a much longer time. That's one way to go about it. The other way to go about this is you don't build any facility and you simply rent spaces out to people who own boats, trucks, ice cream trucks, food trucks, etc., who need the space because their subdivision is giving them a hard time, their HOA, and they need the space. And in that case, you can advertise in the newspaper, use social media, or simply post it on neighbors.com. Business tip number 3, junkyard business. If you own a vacant piece of land, you can turn it into a junkyard business or facility by simply getting the permits. You will have to do your research, see if there's a need for this, and you'll need permits. Junkyards are places where people can go and leave their items, and they usually have to pay by the pound. You, in the meantime, can salvage certain items like plastic or metal or car parts and sell these to other suppliers that need them and generate money. So not only you're getting paid by selling these items, but also the people are paying you a small amount by the pound. In the meantime, you haven't had to sell your land. It's still yours. Business tip number 4, parking lot business. If your vacant piece of land is located in prime location, in other words, close to neighborhoods, offices, and popular attractions, you can lease that space so that it could be turned into a parking lot. Or you can do it yourself. Get the permits that you need, pave the area, and turn it into a parking space. You will be solving the problems of a lot of employees who work in that area and frustrated people who avoid visiting that area because of how inconvenient it is to park. So think about it. In the meantime, your land is appreciating in value. Tip number 5, pet park business. If you own a vacant piece of land, you can turn that area into a pet park. You can have an area for the smaller dogs and an area for the larger ones. It's important to keep them separate. It has to be a green area, definitely fenced, and you want to make sure that there's an area where they can drink water. But you're giving them a space to socialize, meet with other dog owners, and you can do this by membership, where you have a very strong presence online using social media and maybe some advertising out there. Or you can make it free for all of them, and you capitalize by selling treats for dogs, providing space for them to celebrate their birthdays, where you do charge them for those occasions, and maybe have a gazebo for them to do their birthday parties, dog birthday parties, of course. And you make money by using signage where you advertise for vets, for grooming centers, and any other businesses that are associated with your niche, which is the dogs, the pets. Okay, so that's 2 different approaches. Business tip number 6, goat farming. Yes, you heard it, goat farming. Goat farming has become increasingly popular because there's people out there very interested in buying goat milk, goat cheese, goat milk soap, goat milk candles, and also people who love to garden, they choose to buy goat pellets. It's a very good fertilizer that doesn't burn the plants like regular manure does, and it repels bugs. I didn't know all of this, okay? So there's money to be made in goat farming. Now you can choose to lease your land to a goat farmer who already has everything in place, and now you're providing him or her with space to operate the business, and you get passive income. Or you can get in your hands dirty and get involved, learn the business, and become a goat farmer. It's up to you, but there's money to be made. And in the meantime, if you were thinking of selling your land, maybe you can hang on to this land while it continues to appreciate. Pet sitting business. You can use your vacant piece of land to create a pet sitting business where your animals are gonna be safe. They're gonna be in a rewarding atmosphere with creative things to do, like hiking, playing tug of war, swimming, socializing with other animals in a spacious area where they can exercise. People are stressed out. The idea of traveling and having their pets stay in a little cage, that really turns them off, and they want to be able to travel knowing that their pets are going to be cared for and nurtured. That could be you offering that service. Tip number 8, outdoor theater. People are looking for affordable entertainment, but most of all, something that's exciting and different, something that they can talk about. So if you have this piece of land that belongs to you and you want to generate some income, you can start from Thursday night or maybe Friday night doing some outdoor theater. You need a giant TV, and you need to organize the land so that cars can park strategically without blocking each other, so that everybody can have their perfect view. There's money to be made in a concession stand, or you can have people come to the cars selling them stuff the old-fashioned way, where somebody had some candy and popcorn and drinks already prepared, and people have a great time. Tip number 9 of 15, event rentals. If you own a vacant piece of land, you can lease it out for events. This could include a jazz festival, private picnics, wedding, Sweet 16, corporate events, you name it, you can do it. Now keep in mind that you're not just leasing the land. You could, but think of things like bouncing houses, chairs, tables, catering. Maybe you don't want to cook, but you can connect with somebody who does and get a commission out of that. You can provide space for, or rent spaces for food trucks during your festivals or different events. So there's money to be made through all these different opportunities. Who's gonna decorate, who's gonna clean, photography. Maybe these are things that you can offer yourself, but you don't have to offer every single one of them. But there's money to be made, so think about it. Petting zoo. If you have a vacant piece of land, you can get some furry little animals together and create a wonderful experience for families who have small children, for daycares. You can contact all the daycares and preschools in the area and elementary schools, letting them know that you have a petting zoo. You can offer services like hay rides, have games for them, tug of war, because there's going to be space to have fun. And also you can offer lunches. You can provide space for a food truck to park there, charge them rent, or you can provide food yourself or create a cafe in the near future. So there's all these options for you. Business tip number 11 out of 15. International Food on Wheels Center. Imagine taking your piece of land, vacant piece of land, and creating a huge area that's paved, square or triangle, but it has to be huge because there's gonna be a lot of chairs and umbrellas. In the middle, you might consider putting a stage for singers or entertainers on weekends. Then you're gonna rent that piece of land, and of course you've provided some space for parking. You are gonna rent that space to different food trucks, but you have to make sure that they're all different. You wanna have your Jamaican one, your Spanish one. You wanna have one that specializes in wonderful smoothies. So people come, they park, and they have all these choices. They can ask for their food, sit, and wait for the food to be ready. In the meantime, there's DJ music going on. But on certain days, let's say it's 4th of July or Christmas, you may want to consider bringing in live entertainment. And of course, you get sponsors to pay for that, or even the different food trucks could participate. I'm just giving you the idea. You work on the details, but there's money to be made. If you're enjoying my content, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Tip number 12, building a vacation home. If you've had this piece of land forever, you're not ready to let it go, you can get money from the bank and build yourself a beautiful home or an apartment complex or an apartment building and rent it through companies like Airbnb, Vermo, Booking.com, or Expedia. But I want you to keep in mind that it doesn't have to be a huge house. It doesn't have to be apartments. People are looking for experiences that are unique, that are out of the ordinary. You want to give them something to talk about, something that 10, 12 years from now, they're going to be bragging about the experience with their friends. And they're going to say something like this: remember when we went to Guatemala and we stayed in that teepee? Wasn't that cute? And they pull out their phone and they show them pictures of this teepee. Yes, a teepee, but it's not an ordinary teepee. And they have never forgot about it. And they keep bragging about the experience, which is advertising for you if you happen to be the owner of that teepee. There are people on Airbnb who are renting wagons. They take an old wagon, they paint it, they remodel it. It's kind of small, yes, but it's out of the ordinary. There's an area where they can use their fire pit. There's an area for barbecue. Again, they have access to other activities close by, and it's something different. Yes, and they'll pay $175 or $200. There are people out there who in their land, they've built a tree house. Kind of small, yes, but people don't care. People are traveling to stay in this tree house, which is very cozy, very romantic, and out of the ordinary. And guess what? The owner of that piece of land didn't have to get into so much debt to create this asset that they're renting weekly and daily out there on Airbnb or booking.com. Some of them have their properties in different websites. So there's money to be made. I invite you to go to Airbnb and go to an area that says OMG so that you can see that there's a lot of properties that are out of the ordinary that are being rented, even flying saucers. Do your research. And you don't have to spend so much money to get somebody intrigued and interested in staying in your piece of land, which eventually you might even consider not selling it and passing it on to your kids, keeping it in the family for generational wealth. Tip number 13 out of 15. If you have a vacant piece of land, you can rent a portion of it to a billboard company. We're assuming here that your land is in prime location, close to highways or in a busy street to be able to do this. There are companies out there who would be happy to rent a portion of your land for billboards. If you have prime location, some of these companies are willing to pay you 10 years in advance. Okay, so look into that, because even though there's all this talk about social media, billboards are not going anywhere anytime soon, because jewelry stores, lawyers, politicians, they all continue to use billboards, and you see it when you're in the expressways and in different avenues. So think about it. Billboards, you can rent the space or you can do it yourself. Get yourself a billboard if you want to. And then you would be the one renting directly to your clients. So you have those two options. Tip number 14 out of 15, rent plots for a community garden. Now this could be fruits or it could be flowers, but people want to plant. And I'm thinking more of the baby boomers, people who are retired or about to retire. This is a fun activity that will take all the stress away from them. And they can use it once a week, they can use it every day, but people are willing to rent a little plot where they can come and grow their vegetables or flowers. And if you could provide a space for them to leave their tools, and they'll have to bring their lock to make it convenient for them. But yes, if you have all this land and there are people out there who are bored and they need nice entertainment, you can make money, passive income, by dividing it in little lots. Business tip number 15, rent your land for festivals. If you have this vacant piece of land and it's quite big, there are people out there willing to rent it for festivals. There's a book out there called Where the Shows Are. That's a good place to advertise, and there's similar books like that one. But there are companies out there who do all these art shows or festivals, music festival too. And there's some states like Florida and California where there are a lot of shows because of the weather. So think about it, that's totally passive. These companies will bring the portables, their stages, they have everything already. And if it's artists, they'll bring their booth. So you're just providing the land and they'll do everything else. If you've enjoyed my content, please give me a thumbs up and share this video. And let me know in the comments if you like this type of content so that I can create some more for you.